huge day for the Marc Lopez Law Firm and our clients. Matt, how long ago did this guy hire us? We're talking years at this point.
Oh man, this event happened back in August of 2019. So, I mean, even including the year that we had to quit because of COVID 2020, we're still talking about 2.5 years since he's actually hired us. This case has been going on for a long time.
So real quickly, a little background. This guy calls the law firm. He says, Marc Lopez, I got a CDL right away. Anyone with the CDL, that gets our attention because drunk driving, anything involving alcohol with a CDL can have serious ramifications. So this guy says, hey, Marc Lopez, I got a CDL and I got a ticket for 0.04 on the breath machine. I was like, whoa, that's not a DUI, right? And he's like, no, it's not a DUI, but it's a ticket because CDL drivers can't have any kind of alcohol above 0.4 in their system. Matt, give us a little overview of that.
Yeah, so when he called in and he told us about the ticket, what happens was this was actually put into a town court in Plainfield. So he calls us. What happens with any kind of CDL driver who is charged with an alcohol offense risks losing their CDL. Doesn't matter if it's a DUI, doesn't matter if it's a ticket. He was actually in his CDL when he picked this up. So there was absolutely no way that we were going to be able to plead this guy guilty under any circumstance. And the prosecutor's office, they're mandated by federal law, which is, federal laws about masking. So it's not like they can offer us anything that's non-alcohol related. So we knew going into this was going to be a trial from day one.
So Matt, just to reiterate, this guy's in this commercial truck. Officer pulls him over for some sort of traffic violation. Trooper smells alcohol. Oh, there's alcohol. Give this guy a field sobriety test. They give him a breathalyzer. They give him the big old machine. The trooper does not think he's intoxicated. So he's not drunk driving, but commercial driver's license holders in their commercial vehicle, you cannot have 0.04 alcohol on your blood or breath. It's not a crime, but it's a traffic infraction, and it's a kind that can really mess up a CDL license holder. So Matt, this guy calls us and he says, hey, I got a different attorney. And they said, no way to beat it. We have to just, we say plead guilty, but it's a traffic infraction. So you're not really pleading guilty, but his old attorney said, hey, we got to admit liability and go on our separate ways. Matt, what was our response to that?
Absolutely not. There's no way you can do that. By doing that, you're automatically giving up your right to drive a CDL. And our client goes, well, that's all I know. Literally, it's all he knows. Driving is what he knows. So what I told him was, okay, perfect, man, let's do a trial. I hate if anyone has to admit guilt or admit that there was, a reason for an infraction or whatever, and it's going to cost them their livelihood. So we ended up doing a trial. Now, when we first did this trial on the town court level, we lost. The town court judge found that there was a violation, and there's no jail or anything associated with it. There was just a fine, and it was a nominal fine at that. But nonetheless, just by being found guilty or substantiated, because you're right, this isn't a criminal case, because it was found true, basically what happened was he would have lost his CDL. So at that point, we then appealed it and asked for what's called a trial de novo at the trial court level. So that is a brand new trial. It's almost as if the first one never happened. So we go from that. We knew what the issue was going to be. We knew the issue was going to always be with this breath ticket. Is this breath ticket going to get in? Is the number going to get in? From day one, I made the assertion, and as did you, when we roundtabled this with the attorneys and our license clerk and everybody, how does this get in? There's no exception for this breath ticket or this number under the statute our client was charged under. There's no way for this to get in.
What Matt's talking about is very simple. Breath test is an out-of-court statement used to prove the truth of the matter asserted. It's hearsay, but Indiana law says, hey, for a drunk driving offense, for a crime, we're going to let that little number in. We don't really care if it's hearsay. And that's a statute. It's on the screen right now. But this guy's not charged with drunk driving. He's charged with a traffic infraction, completely different section. And there's no corresponding section that says, well, the breath test gets in under this traffic thing. And so it's a hyper-technical argument, but me, Matt, licensed law clerk, Mr. Lang, we round tabled this whole thing, and we thought we had a shot. And so like Matt said, town court judge said, no, we weren't done yet. We appealed it. You appealed town court to the superior court. Matt, We love Hendricks County. What did the Superior Court judge say to us, though?
Well, much like Plainfield, we also got a giant no. However, in this situation, the judge at the superior level also left it open to appeal the order. She was also very intrigued, interested about what the possible outcome could be, because this is a brand new area. There's not case law on if this can get in for a commercial vehicle or not. It just wasn't there. You talked about the exception for DUIs. There's also one for boating while intoxicated. So the state legislature even came back and carved out another exception. So that was also part of our argument. So at the trial court level, we had a motion to exclude or essentially suppress, get rid of the breath ticket. Judge said no. But at that point, I know with my conversation with you, my conversation with Mr. Lang, everybody in our office was on board. We're not done. So after that, we filed an appeal to take it to the Court of Appeals.
But hold on, Matt. I just don't want to stress enough. The trial court judge, she ruled against us, but she said, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. You guys can appeal it. She didn't have to do that. And I thought that was they're so big of her, because I've had lots of judges tell me no. And if you don't allow an attorney to appeal something without going all the way to trial, you make a lot more work of lots of other things. So I give this judge so much credit. She had to basically agree that we could do an interlocutory appeal, meaning the case isn't over when we appealed it. So she saved us, in my opinion, lots of time, and I really do appreciate that. I don't think she watches these videos, and I'm not trying to kiss any butt or anything, but I really did appreciate she let us do this without having to do the whole trial. So sorry to interrupt you, Matt. Keep going. You did a great job.
No, man. So after that, and I agree 100%. Giant favor. In fact, even during the hearing, encouraged us to file so we can get to the bottom of this. So what we did is we filed an interlocutory appeal. We took this one more step to the Court of Appeals, where we basically argued this in motion. Now, we asked for oral arguments so we could argue it to a panel of Court of Appeals. That was denied. Court of Appeals says no, thank you. However, they did grant our appeal. They reversed the decision originally. So, while I'm a little sad I don't get to argue to the Court of Appeals again and continue my count towards the lead appellate attorney here, I'm so excited we got that order today. Literally, I had to pull over on the highway driving back from none other than Hendricks County to have a little celebration in my car. It was great, man.
This is absolutely huge. The case is not technically over.
Correct.
So technically the Court of Appeals excluded the breath ticket. I don't know how they can move forward. I'm sure they'll find an interesting argument or something like that, but this is what I call an absolute victory. And I am so proud of the trial team, so proud of the appeal team, so proud of the license team. I'm just so happy everything worked out together. Matt is the one that did these two separate trials, and never once did Matt say, I'm tired of them telling me no. He literally came back after every trial and he said, let's kick it up a notch. And oh man, there's nothing better in this world than winning an appeal. I mean, obviously better not to have to do an appeal, but it's almost like a zombie. You thought it was dead, it comes back. It came back in our favor, and I love it. Excellent work, Mr. Kroes. I'm proud of you.